Hello YouTube. I'm going to show you the next project. This is a Young miniature, or Young's miniatures, 1/10 scale. This is the Korean War soldier. Still have to cut a bunch of stuff off and assemble it. Looks pretty good. Be a lot of detail. I bought a nice pin to put on the base that I'm going to put this on. Got the super glue ready to go. Paint. So this is the start of it. Okay, so we got everything glued up. Had to put the rifle piece on there. That's all glued up. And then this was, I'll be honest with you, a mess, especially that bill of that hat, trying to get that in there. I actually had to cut this piece off to get it to fit in there, so it probably doesn't look correct, but I don't think you'll really be able to see it once I spray that dark. So I'm probably gonna have to possibly putty, we'll see. I mean, there would be a seam there, so I might get lucky. I'll put some more glue on there and hopefully that'll kind of make that look right. I hope. Let me bring it down. There we go. You can see that seam, so I'll try that. You can see up in there, see how that's kind of cut, and the other side isn't. That was the only problem I had. But once I spray this, hopefully the imperfections won't be seen. I've had a lot of luck with that while doing these. But everything's all glued up, and now all I have to do is just prime it out. Okay, so I just primed it black first to kind of hide some of the upper creases that I may not be able to get into. And then I put the gray primer over top of this, as you can see. But you can see how it goes into the creases. But this seems to work pretty good. Oops. Yeah, it's hard looking at your hand through a camera. Okay, and then same here. I left it a little bit darker down there because that's going to be, there's going to be a shadow there from the helmet and everything. But that is how everything turned out. That seam, I think I'm going to have to sand out there. That looked kind of cruddy. I mean, it's not bad. There's going to be a seam, but that may not be exactly the way I wanted that to turn out right there, as you can see on that hat piece. I can't remember what those were called, these kind of hats underneath that helmet, but they were a winter hat. But anyways, I have to sand that down a little bit, but that looks pretty good. Give it some definition when I start painting. But that is where we're at so far. Okay. So I'm putting on like bulk coats. And then I'll come back for some detail. So that helmet cover, let's see, I used Vallejo flat green and some khaki. And then I'm gonna show you this real quick because I used both of those for that, along with a little bit of this light green gray. So those were the three that I used to mix to get his coat. And then I just mixed the two to get his helmet. I used the flat green on that, or actually no, I'm sorry. No. I used the gunship green on that, this hat so far. Now there's gonna be other coats put on there, but that's just what I got done so far. And then I just put on medium flesh just to kind of put some kind of back color on there. And then I used this This is the AK Wine Red, and I made a wash with it and put that on for now. And then a lot of that wash is going to blend out, but I want it there for you know, some of the spots that are going to be the creases and everything. And then I took this Scarlet and Flat Earth for the rifle, the wood, for right now. And of course I'm gonna have to do more on that. And then the strap and the ammo pouches, that's just all khaki. But this is very basic, just kind of like the bulk stuff, just putting down, you know, something to put the rest of my paint over. But that is what I've got done as of now. So it'll start coming to life here fairly soon. Lots of stuff to do, lots of detail to put in there. Okay, there it is all finished up. Put all the detail in. The helmet, I basically used a red brown, a brown, and a green. So let me get these paints here. I used a flat green. I used the flat earth, and then I mixed the flat earth with the scarlet to get that kind of a reddish brown. I did that with the rifle too, the wood. And then of course that's the oily steel, that's Vallejo. All these paints were Vallejo except for the white that I used for his eyes, and that was AK paint. But I just basically took the, as I said before, lighten the greens up with light green and some khaki. Then the scarf, I actually took green and brown and mixed. That way it would have that wool look. And then his face tins, I showed you the basics. And all I did was go back with some lighter colors and hit the nose. You can see the difference here and there. And then lightened up his beard. Now for the snow effects, there we go. You can kind of see that frosty look in the snow. So first, I went over it with this Tamiya weathering kit, that snow. And it kind of gives it a frost look here and there. You can see it. Then after I did that, that's when I went over with this AK snow sprinkles. And that is what is on that base and like on the top of the helmet, on his shoulders and here and there, just where snow would fall and lay and start to accumulate as you're standing on guard. And then this is just stuff that you find at the local hobby store. Looks like grass with snow on it. And then I ordered this pin to put on the plaque. I do have to put some beeswax on this walnut. And then I did use the stand too that came with it, and I painted it black, drilled a hole in that and drilled a hole in this. But all in all, he turned out pretty good. Nice quick video. Kind of showing you what I did, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Take the time to thank a veteran, thank them for their service. God bless.